How's everybody doing? My name is Echo. Welcome to a brand new beta and preview version. This is the Minecraft Bedrock version 1.21.130.27. Today's update is all about quality of life. Now, that flickering bug that I seem to have has slightly gone. I still seem to have it every now and then when I'm typing on signs, it will kind of snap to the center. After reading a couple of your comments as well, some of you are still experiencing the same issue. There is no mention of this in the changelog. Anyway, let's get into this week's features and bug fixes. We are starting with Mounts of Mayhem, the Breath of the Nautilus. Some of you noticed last week, it was slightly broken. Breath of the Nautilus buff effect no longer stops air from replenishing when a player is out of water. The Breath of the Nautilus buff effect no longer stops air from replenishing when a player with the water-breathing effect is riding a Nautilus. Breath of the Nautilus buff effect no longer stops air from replenishing when an entity is submerged in lava. So let's grab ourselves a couple of these. Let's obviously tame this little fellow. Now you'll see my bubbles are going down. Previously, if you got on this and went above, your air bubbles would not come back. That's now being resolved. And same for if you were down here, they would still kind of go down, but you wouldn't suffocate, but your air bubbles would just pop. So yeah, a couple of changes this week, not only with this Nautilus, the other ones as well. As for the Nautilus mob itself, we did get a couple of bug fixes. This is what changed. Reduced the clipping between the Nautilus's head and shell. Nautilus hurt sound outside of water is no longer replaced by the player hurt sound. Nautilus can now spawn in peaceful difficulty. A Nautilus can now only spawn between Y levels 38 and 58. We have a bug report. This change is all to do with the Nautilus spawning at one height on Bedrock and it being slightly different on Java. It's now on Parity. Moving on to the Coral Zombie Nautilus. I love this little creature. Coral Zombie Nautilus now actually replaces the normal Zombie Nautilus in warm oceans. So there is a chance if you come to a location like this and it's nighttime, you can find a zombified version of this. Now you can use / summon and do the zombie_Nautilus, and it will be the coral one. So if you're looking for an exclusive mob, which is this little guy, which can be tamed and ridden, you want to come to the warmer locations. As for the zombie Nautilus itself, reduced clipping between the zombie Nautilus heads and shell, similar to the regular one. Zombie Nautilus hurt sound outside of water is no longer replaced by the player hurt sound, again being the same. Changes with the Camel Husk. We actually have quite a few of these. It says, zombie husks that spawn riding a Camel Husk now have a 50% chance of dropping a rabbit foot. Now, originally, the Camel Husk did drop a rabbit's foot. Then they changed it to rotten flesh. The Camel Husk can no longer be leased while being ridden by a hostile mob. The Camel Husk can no longer enter a panic state while being ridden. Looting enchantment now correctly works on the Camel Husk. It says Camel Husks no longer pull in Husk and Parched as riders after they have been dismounted. We have a bug report. So have you ever noticed with a baby zombie that rides things like zombies, cows, pigs, etc.? Well, this kind of worked in a similar fashion. Basically, when the rider is off the Camel Husk and this person runs this command to show you, it would automatically go on top of the Camel Husk, which was a strange one, as you can see right there. Well, yeah, no idea how people discover this stuff, but I thought it was actually pretty cool. Camel Husk now has the correct spawn category matching Java. Camel Husk now has the correct sounds for the Camel Husk sit, Camel Husk stand, and Camel Husk dash. We do have a bug report, but I couldn't access it. A couple of changes to the Parched skeleton. The developer said Parched now deals a base damage of 1 heart instead of 1.5, matching Java. Parched now has the same vertical offsets in vehicles as other skeleton variants. The Parched geometry has been tweaked to fix some visual bugs. Parched now have a chance of spawning riding spiders and cave spiders in deserts instead of the regular skeletons. We have a bug report. This bug report just confirms it's not possible for them to ride those spiders. Moving on to sound changes this week. They said fixed unsaddle sounds not playing for the Nautilus and the zombie Nautilus. We do have a bug report. Fixed armor equipped sound not playing for the zombie Nautilus. Fixed armor unequipped sound not playing for the zombie Nautilus. Added custom saddle sounds for the Nautilus and the zombie Nautilus. Okay, so if I put this on, take it off, it has a new sound. Let's do this one. Yeah, it's more like a thud sound, but newly introduced. So we're definitely getting close to the end of this update. We've got a whole bunch of spear changes. The developers said piglins now correctly hold spears in their left hands while inspecting them. Fixed the unbreaking enchantment not working on spears. We do have bug reports. Fixed merging enchanted spears on anvil not working. We do have a bug report. Spear use sound no longer has a chance of playing twice. So this one is to do with the piglins basically holding two items in the same hand. And I did see this, thought it was pretty cool. We have unbreaking not working with lunge on spear using jab attack. So apparently this was slightly broken here. Let's see. Ah, okay, yeah, you can see how fast it's going down. There is no difference with Unbreaking 3. And this one was really strange. If you were trying to combine two enchantments, I'm going to show you this. Incredibly loud. But basically, it just did not work. So if we summon a piglin and break this, they now inspect them in the correct hands. And if we do / time set midnights, I'm going to actually just put this right next to it. Summon these. Maybe he doesn't want to hold it. But these guys now have the chance. There we go. They look so weird. In a cool way, though. In a cool way. But yeah, they can now hold spears. We also have a bunch more changes when it comes to the spear. So the shaking of a zombie's arm when holding a spear is now mirrored to match Java. I've showed you this one. I've showed you this one. Spears now play hit sounds when charging at an armor stand. Apparently. There you go. So you could do some testing. Or you do some jousting with your friends. Kind of like that change. That one's actually pretty cool. But yeah, there's a whole bunch more changes. Spear attack range is now correctly applied, providing an effective maximum reach of 4.5 blocks. Spear attack range is now increased by 3 blocks in creator mode, matching the behavior of other weapons. A couple of changes with the zombie horse. So, zombie horse head texture is now symmetrical. Zombie horses will no longer panic from fire tick damage, as it would cause them to sometimes move back into sunlight, which would set them on fire. They will still panic from being set ablaze. Reduce the range of speed the zombie horse can spawn with. Zombie horse's saddle texture now matches other horses' saddles. Obviously, if you do spawn these, they are going to panic. I've also noticed if you make it nighttime, dude, they spawn so frequently. Anyway, moving on to blocks. Hanging roots can now be waterlogged. We have a bug report. This has been an issue for 4 years. 4 years it's taken to fix this. You can't put the hanging roots under this block in water. Now you can. And I can show you this by grabbing these, jumping into water, and placing it right here. Gameplay changes. Custom items tagged with Minecraft is_shovel now builds paths on all blocks the shovel does. Hoppers can no longer stack multiple bottles in one slot inside a brewing stand. We have a bug report. I thought this one was pretty cool. It was an issue in actually the latest 4 releases. So if we watch this video here, this person's going to be able to get a stack of these inside of here. So as you can see there, they've got 8. They go ahead and put these inside of here, open up a brewing stand, it stacks them. That's not meant to happen. So if I was to grab a couple of these and try and do exactly what he did, it's not going to happen. As you can see, we do have these inside of there, but they're not actually stacked. Although I would love to have stacked potions. Fixed clipping and third-person swimming animation. We have some general changes. This one says, Lime Dye no longer awards you. You need a mint achievement. Copper tools can now award the more tools achievement when crafted. So obviously copper is now a useful thing. It makes sense. Fixed an issue where signing in at the exact wrong time would make many online features unable to load for 5 minutes. Added the splash text, one does not simply walk to the far lands. The developer said this statement was proven false on October 4th, 2025. There was a YouTuber or streamer that actually walked to the far lands. It took them, I believe, 10, 12 years to do. If you don't know about it, I recommend Googling it. It's quite interesting. Graphical changes fixed mushrooms, and armors on mobs not being affected by the enabled dithering setting. We have a bug report. Shout out to Late Lag, who has reported this. As you can very clearly see, this doesn't work correctly. So if I was to walk up to this now, you can very clearly see the dithering is happening. Some people don't like it. I actually don't mind it. Fix the regression where torches and lanterns were not emitting point lights in ray tracing enabled worlds. Input. Fixed an issue where Xbox controller connected to ROG Xbox Ally did not work while built-in controller was active. We have a bug report. So this has been an issue for quite some time. There's not exactly any gameplay regarding this. It simply did not work. Fixed a bug on Windows where the mouse cursor moved in the background during gameplay. Now, they've outlined that this has been fixed, and apparently it's been fixed in the latest full release. It still seems to be an issue. I still have this problem, and sometimes, I'll tell you one thing here, if I was to kind of go up and down, and I'm off the screen, it would still move. This is still a major problem. We also have item changes here. Spawn eggs are now sorted thematically in the creative inventory according to these following categories. So it's all of these. We also have tools and weapons now lose durability when used to attack armor stands, just like they would when damaging other entities such as minecarts, paintings, boats, or leash knots. Mob changes. It is no longer possible for two mounts to mount each other simultaneously. Realms, and I know a lot of you are having major issues with realms. These are more for navigation, and this one. Present players with the option to play using mobile data or change their game setting if mobile data is disabled when attempting to join a newly purchased realm. It also says text inputs. Fixed IME inputs when application lost and regained focus, switching from the app and back while editing. User interface. Fixed the crash when using hotbar keys while hovering over Stonecutter preview interface. That's a random one. Open windows such as inventory, trading, or chat will now close when you are hurt by a mob. Windows will not close repeatedly if you are attacked multiple times in quick succession. Vanilla Parity, Crimson Roots, and Crimson Fungus now generates in the Warped Forest biome. We have a bug report. Oh, wow. This goes back 5 years ago. 5 years to fix some of these issues. Man, Bedrock really does have some very big problems, huh? Apparently it just didn't spawn there, and it's meant to. As for the technical updates, this is a very big one. I believe players now have the ability to do some stuff with redstone, according to the marketplace partners and the technical peeps. Also, Smokey Stacks has posted some things which I would like to show you, but apparently this is a really good technical update. If you're interested in the technical side of Minecraft, there will be a link down below. So he said it's a huge preview for creators. So apparently they now have the ability to do colored lighting. It says what it should like if my math is correct. Now, he wasn't happy with this. I know it's only like beta and preview, so this is subject to change, but this is something that players have always wanted. It's gonna make these Vibrant Visuals packs so much better. But this is the redstone change. Custom blocks can now be powered by redstone. So this is very good news for add-ons and custom worlds. Feels good to not have a world where my game goes like this all the time. So yeah, that's the latest set of changes, guys. We are obviously really close to the end of this update cycle. This could release anywhere from the next 2 to 4 weeks. So stay tuned for Mounts of Mayhem and probably a couple of hotfixes and updates between now and then.